Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be diving into 3 altcoins that could be great buys in the very near future. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe. Tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with all the videos that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all of that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump on down into the desktop and take a look at the very first altcoin. Okay, we'll keep this pretty standard one and probably most predictable one right off the bat here. This is Cardano. Now, Cardano actually could be presenting itself with a really interesting opportunity in the very near future. We can obviously see a little bit more of a leg up in the short term as well. Obviously, this is all going to be short-term stuff in this video, nothing really long-term, but I do think each of these particular altcoins are going to perform incredibly well long-term as well. So I don't think you'll do bad if you just hodl. Right, let's get into Cardano. So the first thing we need to acknowledge is this fantastic push up, this double bottom just here, and this continued push to the upside. As we can see, that stochastic RSI is, of course, oversold again as we start to see this correction just here. And this is basically wiping out that stochastic RSI before momentum kicks back into the upside. Now, we have had a little bit of a cross just here, and I'll just zoom in on this. Okay, so this is important that we understand, what's going on just here. So as you can see, we had a wick come up here, and this is a nice high of 117.8, and then obviously we wicked down lower here at 117.4 and 117.7. Okay, so these are lower than the 117.8. So we know that you're not really allowed to have too much in the way of overlap if we are looking impulsive. So that's an important just thing to note there, as we can't necessarily call that an impulsive move, right? But that being said, the main overlaps that we want to avoid are wave 1s and wave 2s. So we definitively have, an A, B, C over here, for example, A, B, and C, not impulsive to the upside, lots of overlap. And again, if we were to call this wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 would overlap wave 1. So we know that that is not what's going on here. But it's important that we kind of just draw this up a little bit. So we can see here that this is potentially an impulsive move here. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 with that double bottom just here, and then wave 5. And what we want to do here is actually take this distance of wave 4 with our fibs to give us an idea of the short-term kind of expectations, right? So this fifth wave, the most minimum kind of threshold that we look for here is the 1.618, that being $1.228. And considering the positioning of that stochastic RSI, that is where I think we are heading, potentially a little bit higher on the shorter time frame, maybe up towards the 2.618 at $1.30, and before seeing a correction. So one of the things to note is once you have 5 waves up, we would expect an A, B, C correction, and this is going to be the opportunity that could lead us into a great buy for Cardano before it takes the next step to the upside. So we are looking for pushing a little bit higher here. Feel free to kind of do as you please here. I wouldn't enter until we start to see a wave C low, as that is going to be offering me the best opportunity to get it back into the market for Cardano if you were looking to kind of get into it. If, however, you're looking at building a position, dollar cost averaging, I'd still wait for that wave C personally. I think that wave C is going to be the area we're going to see the maximum amount of value for Cardano in the short time frame. So looking pretty good there. I think there's some interesting stuff on the chart here. Do expect to push up, do expect the ABC. That's the opportunity. That's the first altcoin. Right, let's get into the second altcoin. The second altcoin I really want to kind of highlight to you guys has to be Chainlink. Chainlink is fantastic. With just from a fundamental point of view, over 1,000 partners and integrations providing real-world data on-chain. These oracles, that Chainlink provides are absolutely fantastic. Do absolute wonders for DeFi and a whole host of other use cases as well. So do bear in mind that this is it's heavily integrated. This is going to be absolutely everywhere in the space. But I do want to kind of highlight the volatility of it, right? And it's the volatility that offers you the opportunity, right? So I'm just going to shoot on out here, and here we can see the Chainlink actually provides pretty interesting kind of volatility, right? So we push up nicely here, we pull back 72%. This was obviously in the crash of March 2020. Most cryptocurrencies fell by a very similar number. We pushed on up in August 2020, we fell down 63%. We then pushed on up, we fell down 50%. We pushed up, we fell down 43%. We pushed up, we fell down 71%. We then went up and rose, just in this example here. If I actually take that all the way to the bottom here, fell down 74% and then rallied 172%. We then obviously pulled back down most recently. If we actually take a look here, I'm going to get rid of that piece of text, we don't need that. And we pulled back 60%, we rallied 86%, we pulled back 53%, and we're rallying now. So all in all, this is actually an interesting kind of proposition. Let me just tidy that up a little bit and come back down in here and show you what's going on here recently. But the reason for the volatility has to do, in my opinion, with a lot of the use case of Chainlink, right? So as, let's say, DeFi starts booming, specifically in a bull run scenario, the demand for off-chain data to become on-chain data increases. And as such, you see the price increase as the bull run kind of rallies, or as DeFi kind of rallies. And as a result of that, you often find that depending on the flows of the market, Chainlink is going to be hypersensitive to whether or not the Ethereum price or other kind of smart contract platform prices, increase dramatically as demand kicks in, right? So as that demand kicks in for DeFi, you see the demand kick in for Chainlink at the same time. So the volatility is a good thing because it means that we can kind of be very predictable over what Chainlink is likely to do. As DeFi is likely to boom up, as we start to see a surge back into crypto here, there's a high probability that Chainlink is also going to be in high demand. So what we're running here is a bit of a scenario here with Chainlink, right? So we can see it's actually quite corrective. It's not really impulsive. ABC here, the pullback down, again, we can mark that up as an impulsive move, but then we overlapped it. So we'll call this an ABC down, and then we start to get into this move here. Again, following what's been going on with the total crypto market, really, you could try to count this up as 5 waves, and I think you can by following it like this: wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5, right? You kind of see that. However, I think for simplicity's sake, we can actually call this an ABC. So, to prevent ourselves kind of getting into too much kind of trouble with wave counts and things like that, we can keep it pretty simple, and we can do something like this, right? So here we have a nice A wave up, we have a nice B wave correction, and we're looking for that C wave high. We can take this fib, running the entire length of our A wave, transpose it over into our C wave, and this gives us our target here of about $20.64. That's the most probable area for a push to the upside if it were to complete a 1-to-1 ratio with our A wave, right? So that's scenario A. Alternatively, we can of course draw this up slightly differently and actually take a look at this in a slightly different scale, right? So a slightly wider view here, and we actually take this entire ABC as an A wave, as an ABC, as I said, to the downside here, effectively being a B wave. We can transpose this over again to that bottom. For the 1-to-1 ratio, this actually shows us $20.47. So we got two kind of wave counts equal in the same kind of area here. Whether we call this an A, a B, and a C on a bigger scale, we've got two C waves coming right in here at about $20. So it's looking like there's a bit of a push here to the upside on Chainlink before we see the inevitable reversal. So I'm going to just remove the fib there. I'm going to leave that in. And then we're going to say, okay, cool. We have an interesting kind of target here. Once that comes in, we have the ABC coming down. Here's the opportunity to get back in, or to dollar cost average a position into Chainlink if you're already into Chainlink, and then from that position ride it up into the next set of waves to the upside. So a fantastic opportunity to get into a fantastic project is potentially just around the corner here with Chainlink. Right, so obviously we've spoken about Cardano and we've spoken about Chainlink. What about that third coin? Which one is it? Well, guys, I am pleased to say it is Polygon's Matic. Now, Polygon's Matic is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, it started off as Matic, the Matic network. We've been talking about this since mid 2020 or so, a little bit earlier than that maybe. Fantastic entry points had been made on this one, but obviously there's still many opportunities still to be had, and I do see some pretty interesting things in the future here for Chainlink. Now I do want to kind of zoom out for a second. Obviously with the recent kind of push to the upside, we've been doing a lot of invalidation. We had this impulsive move tracking to the downside, but since our wave 4 here has effectively crossed over wave 1, we know that there is no longer a fifth wave low here on the horizon for Chainlink. So we can take that one off, and we can actually now look at this and say, okay, cool, we're looking pretty impulsive to the upside. We should be looking for a nice correction, and we should potentially be looking at that as a good entry point. So with that being said, we should obviously acknowledge what's going on here. The stochastic RSI is just coming down a little bit. It looks like this impulsive move may be over. So let's actually do the measurements and see what is going on. As we grab our impulsive moves here, we can see we have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 coming down here, almost like a double bottom, but actually this one went a little bit lower. fell into go higher than a wave 3 here. So some kind of flag, but yeah, a bit of a declining one, but nonetheless we actually then pushed up massively into that fifth wave there. So what we want to do is we want to measure the distance, right? Has that fifth wave finished? And let's actually go ahead and run this up with our fibs. Obviously the most probable area obviously was the 1.618. We obviously got extended there, and we've gone past the 2.618, heading up towards the 3.618 there, so nice and heavily overextended with that position. Now of course there's multiple different ways we can count this, so let's actually run another scenario and see what else that kind of gives us. So let's assume we're assuming that this wave count starts down here, so let's actually zoom in on that and see if that's a correct starting position for us, or whether or not we've actually started that incorrectly. So we have 1, 2, that's an overlap, so that's definitely an ABC. We have the ABC down, ABC up, and I would say ABC down. Our starting position is a little bit off. Let's run this with a slightly different scenario then. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5 to come. That would make a little bit more sense. So let's run the numbers on that last little push there. That would effectively put our fifth wave at about $2 before potentially seeing a reversal. That's under the impulsive break here. Alternatively, the other way that we can look at this, and probably an interesting kind of take on it, as these waves are not perfect, we might actually be looking at a wave, a B wave, and a C wave. And if we go ahead and measure the distance on our A wave here, transpose this over into our B wave low, and there we have a 1-to-1 ratio with our ABC, right? So that's actually looking a little bit better considering the stochastic RSI. So two scenarios, we're either going to be pushing up into that $2 range, or this is where we're going to start seeing the reversal. Either way, in the very near future, we are going to be looking at an ABC down, and it is, of course, that C wave that will present itself with the opportunity to get into Matic before, you know, we actually start to see another leg to the upside. So guys, there's 3 coins. Cardano's looking pretty promising. We also have Chainlink also looking pretty interesting, and I think it's going to be in a really good position. And of course, we have Polygon's Matic, which could be finishing its completing move now. Its fifth wave, potentially taking it a little bit higher towards $2, or the ABC actually finishing. Either way, I do expect that, you know, both, well, all 3 actually, Cardano, Link, and Matic, are going to be absolutely fantastic in the short term, but also in the longer term as well. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this video useful and informative, then hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe. Tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.